pretty sketch.
Whatever card my semen lands on, that's the one I'm going after. Do. Adam number 2 with Trombley 2. Adam Lowry, it's our destiny. Smash anvils. Come on. Question. Tell me what you think about me. I buy my own cardboard and I make proxies. Only hit the forge once a week. Pull out all my decks. Check out my new dick sleeves. Question. Tell me how you feel about this. Try to control me. Counterspells getting me pissed. Pay my own fun. Oh, I pay my own bills. Always 50-50 with CommanderSmiths. The rock I'm rocking, I nabbed it. Pickle juice on your cards, you dab it. Gayest cradle I'm tapping, you traded. All the meat force who are independent, throw your specs up at me.
All right, Destiny's Child.
Good job. I added the last part to give you a hint because it wasn't on there. This is, by the way, from Aussie Nate, Mr. Aussie Nate.
Jeez, Independent Women.
Oh, good job! Way to go! Yes,
okay.
High five.
For a while, I was thinking it was Bills, but I mean, they have such a collection; it's ridiculous.
Such an amazing collection.
It's so good.
So there's a couple things. I added he had check out my new sleeves, and just before when I was going through the song, I wrote in, I got to put dick sleeves on there.
Because I brought it up earlier.
We were talking about
I talk about dick sleeves all the time.
We have to make that a thing. And then I added the last thing to throw in, the independent, to help you maybe try to figure it out.
Yeah, no, that helped me out a bunch.
So
I appreciate that.
Thanks, Aussie Nate, for another song. I love
As
that.
always.
I still have to tweak it though. That's the thing, is I have to mess with it a little bit.
Can't leave well enough alone.
Welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I am Adam Smith.
And I am Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We are cousins.
Yes.
Also, about the song, I would like to bring up, the last time you sang, that was the second time you had sung that same New Kids on the Block song.
Was it?
Yeah.
But it wasn't me that did it.
Sure. We can blame it on number
exactly.
2. But
I know. And I almost thought the Destiny's Child. We've done
Destiny's
Child before.
I've done like 2 or 3
Yeah,
songs.
I know. So I was like, I don't know if we've done this one, but it's not me writing it, so I'm fine with it if it's a repeat. So I had done New Kids on the Block before.
That same exact song.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to know what I
sang. The right
sang.
stuff. Well, Adam number 2's was way better than yours.
You're a son of a bitch.
I think it's episode 38. I looked it up. I just started going through them all. I was like,
I swear I heard that song.
Aussie Nate mentioned in the YouTube. He's like, oh, looks like New Kids on the Block again. I was like, I fucking thought so. Started searching through everything. But
I do remember that. I do actually, because I remember I was talking about how that was
it was the same reaction, like, oh, Cindy's favorite song. And I was wondering why it was already in my YouTube cube when I was like looking through stuff.
Well, that's because when I'm looking for, like, sometimes I have to listen to the song. So even like right now,
but no. For me, it was on my YouTube queue when I was going through, and it was like right at the top. Like it was. I've seen it a couple times because I look for it when I'm doing the notes. And all right, moving on.
You're trying to make me look like an ass, but it was a song request, so you failed.
No. You still look like an ass.
All right, now let's get into this episode. Well, so what do we got going today? We have quite a bit. We have our Slaughter on Sight stuff.
Yeah, Slaughter on Sights, Legends in the 99.
So not your commanders. They
not necessarily
could be your commander,
obviously. But we're trying to, again, stretch this list as long as we can. So
well, we came up with a big list for the commanders too, so it actually is good that we're separating it. So it's 15 again, 15 of your legendary creatures
that end up in the 99 main deck, and you need to slaughter them on sight.
Oh, but first, actually, we're starting with a love letter, aren't we?
Yeah, we are going to start with a love letter. Again, Aussie Nate wrote in one about one of his favorite decks. And it's it's an
Aussie Nate episode, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then we finish into what? We have an article that we kind of talked about this week.
Yeah, you found an article, brought it up, and just talking about a different way of looking at specs, or just
it was very interesting.
Find some value. I liked it.
It's kind of a cool way to look at it, and actually I'm going to start probably using the technique just a little bit. I still have my ways of doing things, but this is also another way to kind of go through when you're trying to look for specs. So, but first, our beer. I want this beer because I'm parched.
So it's Surly Sound into Color, which is an Imperial Kettle Sour Ale brewed with tart cherry and raspberry. Yeah, you've been asking for it for like a couple months. So I found it. Here you go, bud.
Oh, that is delicious.
That's good.
You know,
That's
so
good.
I was trying to find, because we talked about the sours and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I got desperate. I saw this in the freaking liquor store. It was $20 when I was looking at it. You got
expensive.
it for 15 or whatever.
I don't remember.
For 4 cans.
I just blindly buy beer that I haven't seen at this point.
This is delicious.
It's really good.
So I ended up
out of Minnesota.
I ended up buying another one. I think it's called. I'm going to say that wrong. I was going to say Spunky Monkey, but spunk is not the right word.
No.
It's something with I've had it before, but it's almost like 10% alcohol. We had beers watching a show, and the next morning I was like, God, it felt like I had like a rough night of drinking because there's just like 3 of them, and I was like, I feel like hungover.
Hammered.
But yeah, I guess our next thing we got to talk about is
Do we have to?
Well,
if people
first
like
off,
us are going to tell other people about us.
We have to thank Trombley, because that was our most recent patron on Patreon. So you can go on Patreon. This is the last week before the end of March, before you can get any of the proxies.
Yeah, we have different tiers. If you do 5 or over, you're going to at least get 1 proxy.
And you get to request
us.
it. We already have one of our Twitter followers.
I want this and that.
Yep. So you can pick out which ones you want. But this is the last week. After this week, then we start the new month of April.
Yep.
Which, again,
how calendars work.
We kind of good job. Thanks, you dickhead. I'm using dick a lot on this one. We have dick sleeves. You're a dickhead. But one other thing we kind of thought of too is with YouTube. You guys can go on YouTube and subscribe and all that stuff there. But we're going to start doing the month of April as well. As we're going to do a drawing with all our subscribers. So when you subscribe, it's just a continuous chance of getting a drawing of. We'll pick a name out. And we'll have like a thing, if they don't really want the card, we'll go to the next person down the line.
Sure. No, nobody gets a proxy.
Nobody gets it. But we'll give a proxy. We'll give out a proxy of that month or whatever for that.
So if you shift over to YouTube and or on Twitter, you can be at both, or if you're on Patreon.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out the YouTube thing, but that'll start in April. You're saying.
So you can still go subscribe to there. All you have to do is subscribe, and you'll always every month be in the drawing for potentially getting a card. So there's that. And then you can also, like Larry was just saying, go on Twitter and follow us on there. You can see our proxies of the week. So if you want to see what we're actually tweeting about, or Lowry's beer that he doesn't share with me, which I like even better. They're very tasty generally. Yeah, I get very disappointed. And I also post at the end of the week, I will show off some of the trades that I have received. Yeah, you got the ooze. Yeah, the ooze. I don't have that ooze. I'm very excited to put that in my Nikia deck. So I got my play set of Bedevil that way. Cardsphere has been really nice. So you can kind of see the two different. Well, I don't show off my eBay stuff because it's a lot of specs and all that stuff. Yours is more trading your cards away for other cards. So I just kind of show you what I have, and then I'm just going to show you my bank account. This is the cards I sold this week, and just be a douche and show all the money that I sell. Sometimes it's 0, so that'll be awesome. So casually, you can always email us at CommanderSmiths. Oh yeah, I guess that's the last part. You can email us. That's where we got a lot of the song suggestions. We got the love letter. If you're in the area, you can be like, "Hey, come and play with us," and we'll tell you that we'll tell you that we're too busy, but we'll definitely try. No, we are definitely we'll definitely try. That is on the books. That's one big thing that happened to me this week is I listed my house. I've been talking about it for a while. Listed my house. Yeah, we know. Yeah, and got an offer, accepted offer the next day. So we're moving forward with all that fun stuff. So that was kind of sweet. So now my life kind of opens up a little bit until we start building the other house. Yeah. But anyways, that's enough of personal life stuff. So should we just YouTube, Twitter, email, all the fun stuff, Patreon, CommanderSmiths, always CommanderSmiths, all the time. Eventually Dick Sleeves. I mean, we can have a combo with just like condoms of like CommanderSmiths on the side of condoms, and it'd be twofold: Dick sleeves and condoms. We're gonna start producing condoms. Might as well. But we put on the package. This will not prevent anything. This will not prevent counterspells. Nice. Counter come. I don't know. All right. Let's move into. You're doing the love letter. All right. So love letter is by Mr. Aussie Nate, right? Yeah, and he kind of went into a lot of detail. It's about a deck.
And the deck came about just in response to other players that he plays with, and it's not really his style, but he's really fallen for the deck. And I think that happens a lot where you're just like, all right, fuck that other person. I'm going to make sure that I make a deck that I can beat, and then you tweak it, and you put a lot of love and care into it, and you just really like it. So this love letter poem is called The Glass-Braced Mage. Before fight, before flight, before sight, before flee, last to the stack, yet first is he. The glass-braced mage, legacy is his name, time a flash, the stack his domain. A subtle power he wields, power unknown, the enchanted glass braces bear a token of home. Before states affect, before senses detect, the glass-braced mage is before cause and effect. Amongst a ship of heroes, without much room, rides a timely mage kin to the mushroom. So in play and in lore, with little need to try, the glass-braced mage, a historic fungi.
A fun guy. I get it.
It's about Raff Capsian ship mage, which was printed back is uncommon from Dominaria.
The awesome, legendary Dominaria uncommons.
No, this was really, really fun and really well done.
Yeah, so basically that dude, what he does, he comes in, he has flash, and he makes all your historic stuff have flash as
Legends,
well.
artifacts, and sagas.
Yeah.
But, and he just, in the letter explaining the poem, it's kind of talking about how he's just able to flash in whatever he needs at the end of turn or a surprise blocker. It just allows him to wait and do the best spell possible.
And kind of do the Lowry threat in a way, where it's like, you sure you want to attack me? Because I'll do stuff.
I can definitely do stuff.
I can do things.
It always backfires. But he was also talking about, like, he actually has cards in there that can back it up.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun to see, and just like him talk about the love for that deck that he kind of has.
Well, it's funny because we were emailing back and forth, and I wasn't sure. Like, he didn't send it. He's like, I have this love letter, but I don't know, whatever. I was like, did you want to mail it to us? Like, I didn't know because he didn't give it right away. I was like, did you want it? You can email it, or did you really want to just mail it?
He could have sealed it with a kiss and sent it.
Oh, this is complete side note. So this week, I did a bunch of orders over the last couple of weeks. So it's like Christmas, magic Christmas.
Yeah.
Cindy was going through the letters, and like every single one is mine. But then she's like, I especially like that one. And I was like, why do you like that one? I like flipped over the card. Somebody had done like the whole put the wax on there and then...
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did the wax on it and then melted their little symbol on it. She's like, I really like that one.
Fantastic.
I was like, yeah, it's uber nerd right there.
That is. You got to make sure the parchment gets there safe.
Yeah. But you got to think with that wax thing, they're on envelopes. That has to get like caught in the... they're
just ripped off.
Yeah,
I hope they still lick it. Was it like completely loose everywhere else?
No, it was sealed. Yeah, and that was kind of like
then they're definitely cool. Like, they're just adding a little bit.
Well, I
of
was surprised
there.
it was still on there. Because with those machines they get so pissy about if.
Well,
there's
maybe
any
they
ridge
sent
on
it via Raven,
and then just
the
owl
dropped it in.
from Harry Potter.
Whatever nerd you're akin to.
I
was thinking Game of Thrones, but
I gotcha. We got it on the horizon. Oh, a couple weeks away.
What?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, April. What? Don't even act like you're not excited. I can see your pants rising.
They're always that way.
Oh, good for you, Lowry.
Okay.
All right.
So getting in, slaughter the 99 legends.
Kill him.
We made a snowman. She touched my leg.
Okay, kill him.
All right. So let's start it off from the top.
So remember, we're not basing this on combo. Like there are plenty of commanders that kind of just combo off and win. We're avoiding that, or just even in the 99, trying to avoid that kind of power level a little bit. But also, these cards are also good as commanders.
Yes.
We're just saying these are also very solid in the 99, and you're going to see them pretty often, and you might not see them coming either.
So to kind of give you the background of the next two episodes, we put a big list together of legendary creatures, and then we went through the list and we're like, okay, this one as a commander is just combo, like how you're building
crazy.
the deck. It's going to be combo. You're going to
synergy,
win.
very good.
The ones that we're choosing for this week's episode are more of, they could be your commander, but most likely you're seeing them as a 99, and when you see them appear, they need to die as soon as possible because it's just helping out. In general, you don't need to build the deck around them. They just help your deck out completely.
Yeah.
So starting off, the biggest one, I mean, not biggest one, but this one's pretty ridiculous when it comes into play, by making everything indestructible.
Yeah. Avacyn, Angel of Hope. This goes in a ton of decks. It's an 8/8 flying vigilance, costs 8 to come out, and it just gives all of your permanents indestructible,
Including
herself. So she protects herself, protects all of your things.
Normally you see these kind of cards when it's like, all other whatever get hexproof, or all other, this is
and
all your permanents.
Vigilance allows you to like be able to attack with their willy-nilly, and people might just block, but like you can't remove their stuff. They're going to be able to leave the vigilance at least back to block, and it's not going to die super easy. So if you don't have that exile effect in hand, that person's going to take over the game very quickly.
Yeah.
Because they could easily just do a board wipe on their side, and it's one-sided.
Yeah.
And that's basically game over at that point. And so this card goes in a ton of 99, and it's quite good.
Quite good.
Quite good.
Quite good.
I've faced this card.
I faced you with this card.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like if you get any sort of protection like Hexproof or Shroud on it, it's just so hard to remove.
I think the only thing I was able to get it is it was a Cyclonic Rift was the only way I got away with getting that guy out of there.
Yeah.
But
I've had it where what was it? There's a black legend that you can pay 2 black and X and reduce a creature's toughness.
Oh, 2 black and X? Torment of Hailfire?
No.
You love that card.
It's a creature.
I know, I'm just being a dick.
What's new? You're just being you.
What's new, pussycat? Whoa.
But and then they were able to reanimate Avacyn. I just continued to kill it while they continued to reanimate it. And I was like, this is an awful game.
I concede.
So, no.
All right. The next on our list is Jin. What is this? Oh, man.
Gataxias.
My freaking internet is going so slow. Jin Gataxias Core
Augur.
No, but
that's not a word.
It's a crap ton to come out, but when it comes out, it's kind of ridiculous. The fact that it has flash is also pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So it's 2 blue and 8 colorless. It's a 5/4. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards, and then everybody else's hand size is reduced by 7. So the only way that they're going to have cards at the end of their turn is if they have something that says that their hand size is increased, which you'd have to have another one of these out.
Yeah, and this can get really crazy in like a green-blue deck, where if you have any sort of... we talked about it last week, I believe, is like untapping mana. So let's say that you have a Bear Umbra out, and you have 5 mana. And what you do is you attack with Bear Umbra, and with the trigger on the stack, you tap the 5 mana you have, they untap, and you tap the 5 again.
And because this
that's
has
10
flash,
mana, has flash,
boom.
Put it into play. And that can be super quick and easy, and that's just brutal so early game.
Yeah.
And it's just at the end of games when people are playing powerful things, if they don't have a response, they're just like, I got to play as much as I can, and then I'm top decking, and it's just so troublesome. Even if they're drawing a ton of cards, they still have to discard all of that at the end of their turn. Yeah. And so this card you got to get it off. You got to slaughter it right away. Even them drawing 7 cards puts you in such a hole.
And that's why if you can't kill it before the end of their turn, I mean, it's not already too late, but it's kind of. I mean, they're drawing 7 cards.
If it goes all the way around to that player and they've drawn 7 extra cards and everybody else had to discard,
then it's
game's
game over.
Pretty much over.
Yeah.
That means nobody had anything to stop you. You're doing whatever you want.
And yeah, like you said, then you're just top decking at that point, and you're done ski. Next one is an old favorite, kind of. We have 2 of them in this spot a little bit.
Yeah, so the Eldrazi Titans from the original Rise of Eldrazi.
So you have Ulamog and...
the Infinite Gyre and Kozilek, the Butcher of Truth. Now, they both have Annihilator 4. That's the bitchin' part.
Yeah, that's the part why you want to kill it that turn if you can before they can attack, because you're going to have to sacrifice 4 permanents before you even block
Gets a
with
block,
it.
yeah.
The Ulamog, it gets to destroy a permanent target,
Exile.
Target permanent, and Kozilek, you get to draw 4 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So they're both getting a benefit when they come in, so there's nothing you can do about that, but it's the when they get to attack part can get kind of brutal.
It ends up being so one-sided unless you have a ton of permanents. Like this, it might not be as effective against like a token deck, but you're still sacrificing a ton of tokens. Yeah. And if you are like a Voltron style player, or you're playing efficiently, so you're like at 5 mana, I'm going to play 1 spell. It's just kind of like, I don't have enough to sacrifice to this.
Yeah, then you're after 2 turns, you're pretty fucked, even 1 turn. Like, well, you should have enough out early or late enough game.
But if somebody wraths, and then they
the
play
only
this, you're just like, fuck.
All right, all my land are gone. Shit.
Yeah, and so and getting rid of your land basically ends the game for you. So you just kind of gotta hope that you can live through it.
Hence why whatchamacallit was banned. Why am I brain?
That's a candy bar.
What, hence?
No, whatchamacallit.
Whatchamacallit? Oh,
That's
gotcha.
not banned.
I was like, hence is not. What is hence? I've never heard of hence.
Know. You've been watching too many Bud Light commercials.
Why am I brain farting on her name? The one that's banned.
Emrakul?
Yeah, God, why was it?
Wow.
Because that had Annihilator 6 and the extra turn part. So that's like where you're basically playing it, casting it. Oh, and you get to do the Annihilator that basically same turn. On that same turn. It's the next turn.
And single-handedly, Ulamog and Kozilek hose mill. So if you're playing any mill, you just stuff this in your deck. If you get to play it, it's going to be amazing. And if not, if you mill it, you get your graveyard back.
And more often than not, Kozilek is in a lot of my decks because it's colorless, so it can go in any of your decks. But because of what you just said, there is the reason. If I'm playing a deck that I'm drawing a lot and have the potential of milling myself, then it goes in there just in case I need that going into the graveyard.
Back and get you your cards back.
Yeah, and even if I don't, like you said, I'm drawing 4 cards off of it, and it has Annihilator, and it's a fucking huge fucking creature. Lots of fucks there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking...
That was inappropriate.
There's a lot of fucking going on.
Not here. I'm celibate. Don't worry.
All right. Our next one is it me or you? Well, we kind of split it. Why don't you take
Aurelia,
this one?
the War Leader. This one is 6 mana. It's in red-white. Flying, vigilance, haste. Whenever it attacks, you get to untap all of your creatures that attacked and then have another attack step if it was your first time. It doesn't go infinite on itself, obviously.
Here's an infinite card. You attack, and you get to always untap and attack.
So this card goes so amazingly in anything with attack triggers.
Yeah, anything.
And if it's your commander, it's fantastic. But even as a utility creature, like I have it in my Kahiji deck. And what that does is I play it. If Kahiji's in play, I attack with all my guys that it's advantageous to attack with. Everything gets +2/+0 from Kahiji. And then I get another attack step, and it gets another +2/+0. So everything that attack step gets +4/+0.
Yeah.
Because they stack triggers and they don't go away
until the end of
your
turn.
And then, if you can attack again, like it just gets bonkers. Like if you flicker... no. So
take that back.
So this card is crazy good, and if it comes down, you got to kill it before it gets that attack in because it does have haste.
It has haste, so you have to kill it immediately.
Yeah. You hope that you have something up.
All right. Next card is Razaketh. We've talked about Razaketh quite a bit. This card basically lets you search through your library. It's a freaking ridiculous demon.
It's a stupid tutor.
You pay 2 life, sacrifice creature, and search for any card in your library and put it into your hand. Flying Trample, it takes a lot to come out, but so it's kill immediately because they're going to be able to still do it, but it's going to at least force them to sacrifice, go search for things.
Yeah, they can't wait for an advantageous time.
Yeah, and hopefully you're not playing a black-blue deck where they just go counterspell.
And they might be able to do that. They could sacrifice a creature and go search for protection for it in response to you trying to kill it. So this could be really difficult to get rid of. And an 8/8 flying trample is pretty tough to deal with.
It's kind of big.
It's kind of big.
It's kind of big.
Yeah.
It's not. No, it's more of the searching for any card because then you have every answer that you need.
Sure, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the 8/8 trample flying.
This could have almost went on another list that we'll do in like 2 weeks, but
it's already too late.
It's already too late.
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's already too late to put it on that list, though, too.
It is because we said it here. Let's do the rewind like we just did a second ago.
That wasn't real.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Shit.
It's not how that works.
But I would say, though, getting it that first turn, making them sacrifice, as long as they already don't have like a crap ton of tokens sitting out there, you're making them do it right away, you know. But if they are, it depends. They, like you said, they might go get something that protects them, especially if this is your commander. But that's why we're saying it's the 99. You're not most of the time going to see this as your commander, I would think.
And there are some of these we'll talk about them, but some of them are so scary at commander that you wouldn't want to play it there because you'll just get straight up killed. And we'll talk about this might be one of them.
Yeah, so that's a good point because we talked about it before the podcast that some of the ones that are as the commander, or not as the commander, in this list, if they were your commander, you would be the immediate target and you would have to die as soon as possible. Because if you get that out, it's already too late for basically everybody, kind of.
So, like, if I saw Razaketh as the commander, I would want to put that person... maybe not kill them instantly, but put them within 10.
Check them down
before they can play this.
They're getting to 6 mana. You're like, okay, well, I need to be able to kill you in one turn. So
I need to, even if you like, and again, not having combo involved in this, but if you have a ton of pressure that you can put on this, if they have something that can go gain them a ton of life back, like this card is able to toolbox whatever you need to have happen.
Yeah,
and so this is a super scary card either way.
Totally agree. All right, next card.
Machias the Unhallowed is probably a little too combo-y for what we're talking about, but still it's a ton of great value. This one's 6 mana 5/5 Intimidate. Whenever a human deals damage to you, it's destroyed, and it gives all of your creatures the is it undead? Like
undying.
When they die, they undying. All your non-human
creatures
get undying. So when they die, they come back with a 1/1 counter on them if they didn't have a 1/1 counter on them already. This card just gets you a ton of value. And like
the computer screen just went this freaking I don't know, there's like an advertisement going on the side, so it's slowing the shit out of my computer right now.
If you go to Patreon and donate, Adam might get better internet.
Yeah.
Probably not because you live out in the boonies.
No. Oh yeah, this is I just want to close this now.
So but Machias the Unhallowed is just dirty. If you don't get rid of it, the human type is
it's the most common.
Yeah.
It's the most common class.
You would be,
which it's kind of crazy. If
when you go through, you'd be pretty surprised at how many humans you actually play as well.
What the hell is going on? This stupid.
Well, it's the same commercial. They're just trying to.
No, but I'm trying to
get me to
refresh
shave my
this,
head.
and then it comes back, and then there he is. Hey, guy.
Just get rid of it.
And now he's gone. God damn it.
Goldfish.
Damn you, Scuba Steve.
So, but this card was reprinted in Ultimate Masters, but this card is really quite good. You need to, because again, it does have combo potential, accidental combo potential.
Yeah.
It goes in a ton of, like, Gave Guru of Spores. You just let all of your creatures come out and kill Gave. It comes back with no 1/1 counters on it, but it gets all of its 1/1 counters back.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can continually... It's not necessarily combo, but Gave is a stupid broken commander as well, which we forgot about on any of these lists.
Shut up, Lowry. I'm going to cut that now. All right, next on the list, we've talked about this guy quite a bit. Actually, over the last couple of weeks, I think we've talked about him a little bit, right? Yeah.
I don't know. Do we?
Foreign Clicks, Voice of Hunger. What?
Go ahead.
What?
This is the one. If this was somebody's commander, you would go, oh, fuck you. I mean, you're going to be within like 5 points of life. I'll let you hang around.
Yeah,
but
I need to be able to and have the actual 5 points of damage in your hand that can kill him instantly.
I am not, because it will still stay tapped if you tap mana to kill it.
So we've talked about this before, but it's 8 to come out. It's a 7/6 trample, but the main thing of this is your mana doubles. your opponents, when they tap it, stays tapped for an extra turn. So, sucks.
This card is awful to play against.
Oh, I know why we talked about it, because you had it in your
Nikia deck?
Nikia deck.
Yeah,
and we
it's
saw it
amazing
coming
there.
and we still didn't do anything about it. And then it was in play and then we still didn't do anything
So
about
we're just
it.
letting everybody know that was playing in that game. You had to have killed it as soon as you could. Because with you keeping your lands tapped, if you're not doing it to remove it,
Whatever you're casting is still staying tapped for your next turn.
yeah,
so
it's
it's
brutal.
stupid.
It is so brutal. And again, like the only and best way to deal with Vorinclex is if you see it on the stack, you tap your mana in response to keep it in your pool.
Good point.
And then once Vorinclex is in play,
As long as you have the instant to destroy
do
it.
something
Yeah.
with it. Or like if you just want to use your mana for like an ability that you
Yeah.
can do on board.
Do
Just
all your
that
stuff.
before you aren't able to untap your land.
Yeah.
Like the card is it's stupid.
It's stupid. Kill it! Kill
Yeah,
it!
slaughter.
God, I just do the kill it. You take
Yeah,
the
I know.
slaughter part. I know. We came up with it, and I don't use it at all.
If you don't believe in it, how are other people going to believe in it?
Well, you know what? We have slaughter on site, but then I add the Dumb and Dumber thing in there, so it has both of us covered. You're doing the slaughter, I'm doing the kill. Got it?
Mm-mm.
No. All right.
Empress Galena is maybe not something that is going to win the game, but is just going to piss everybody
It's a
off.
huge dick move.
Yeah, so this one it's a creature, legendary creature, obviously. You pay 2 blue, tap it, and you can steal any legend. on
Legendary
the field.
permanent.
Yeah.
So, People's Commanders.
People's Commanders, obviously. Just hold that up until the end, and then you can take People's Planeswalkers
Yep.
or any other legend in play. But mainly just their, and I believe it stays, even if you kill Empress Galena.
It says it doesn't end at the end of turn, and it doesn't have. Normally, it'd have the reminder text, or it'd have the text
as long
in there.
as this is in play.
Yeah,
that does not have that here.
Yeah.
So you just get to keep their legend until they kill it.
Stupid.
Yeah. No, this is just an
Do we
annoying-
play with this card?
I do.
Yeah, of course you do, you dick.
I have it in my Kumena deck.
You're such a dick. Such a dick. I do not, because I don't own this card, because I wouldn't go and buy this card, because it's such a dick move. But yes,
yeah, well, I
kill
bought it because it was a really good idea. I definitely have cards.
It's not a good idea. It's just a good card. It's just I'm going to
we should
steal
make a
all your
list
shit.
of like cards that just fuck with people's commanders.
I actually want to make fuck with people's commanders. I just want to make not a deck like that I win, just a deck that just fucks with everybody's shit. This could be kind of in there.
No win condition
Yeah, there's
whatsoever.
nothing. There's no way I win. The way I win is that I see everybody get mad.
It sounds like a counterspell deck.
Yeah. That's a good point. Oh, don't get me started on counter
So
spells
Empress
this week.
Galena is annoying. It's not gonna win you the game. It's just gonna win you the hatred of everybody.
Well, a lot of times when you have these, if it doesn't leave the play or whatever, like one that I was putting on the list and then I forgot it, or you pointed out it wasn't legend. Willow Satyr, dude.
Willow Satyr.
Satyr.
Yeah.
That one at least has when it untaps,
You lose it.
that you lose it. This you
just
take that one and I'll take that one. Like
I'm
there's
gonna
no
untap
down
multiple times.
There's no downfall to her.
It's a 1/3 for 5. That's a
Oh.
downfall on itself.
Yeah, that's the downfall.
Mm.
All right, the
That
next
should have been as like a commander, maybe, as the general.
be
Like
a
if you see that
general dick.
So
right
if
there.
you see this as somebody's general,
oh yeah,
you're like, I'm
they
gonna kill
better
that
die.
person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold up that. That's probably the downfall of that one. Where
Yeah.
if it is your commander, people are just gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that.
Well, I think
have-
that's partially when we started discussing it. Wasn't that
Yeah,
card
yeah.
specifically, or was it a different card?
I think
Maybe
it was
not.
Vorinclex, but
Oh,
could be
yeah.
Empress Galena. But it's just if you have removal and you're like, okay, I'm gonna save this for Empress Galena. I'm not gonna let that go off.
Yeah,
I don't.
you kill it.
You just you slaughter it.
So the next one, Feldon, the third path. I use this in quite a few decks.
Yeah.
This is the 2 red, 1 colorless. It's a 2/3. You can tap 2 in a red. You tap it, put a token onto the battlefield. That's a copy of target creature card in your graveyard, except that it's an artifact in addition to its other type, and then you have to sacrifice it at the end of turn.
Yep.
So you're able to keep playing cards from your graveyard. Sometimes you can do cool things where it's worm coil engine or something like that.
And then when you sacrifice that token, you get
stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of crazy things. I haven't even thought of using this as your commander. It's always in my 99.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I think it's just a great graveyard utility card that should go in a ton of red decks. Like I had this in my Brea deck because you're sacrificing artifacts and being able to bring it back. Being able to do like a Magister Sphinx, put it into play, somebody goes down to 10 life, sacrifice Magister Sphinx, bring it back with Felled on the Third Path, put somebody else to 10. Everybody hates you.
Yeah,
that's
Larry loves it when everybody hates him.
Yeah, that's kind of a goal. But I mean, like if you can get value out of that creature coming into play or leaving the battlefield, that's the best. There's Mere Battlesphere that puts 4/1 tokens into play. Those don't get sacrificed.
Keep doing it over and over.
Thrag Tusk will gain you 5 life, and when it dies, you get a 3/3 beast token when you sacrifice it. Solemn Simulacrum, when it comes into play, go find that.
Yeah, so you're
basic
getting
land.
double of that.
When you sacrifice it, it is... you draw a card. And I think those kind of things are really good with it.
Thinking about it, like a lot of the ones, and we do have a couple of the generals that are monocolored, but I think that's part of it why I'm like, they make it into this list, the more of the monocolored than the dual colors, because you're limited to just red. So if this was your commander, you're only limited to artifact creatures in red of things that do what you were just talking about. Whereas there's a lot cooler stuff with all the other colors.
I think as your commander, people clearly see what you're doing. You're like, oh, you're putting that in your graveyard.
Oh, okay.
Why is that happening?
Oh, it's your commander.
But as this in your 99, you probably don't get the hate for your graveyard, where people are like, well... Who can I aim my Bajuka Bog at? Oh, Felled onto the Third Path player? Yeah, that's happening. But you can gain a graveyard presence with this in your 99, and it'd still work out really well for you.
And this is why this is perfect in my Grenzo deck, because that's the deck that I first started using them, really. Because Grenzo, you're trying to put stuff into your graveyard and then put it on the bottom. You're not putting it... Using his ability, and you could get creatures that cost too much into your graveyard. Well, then this is a way to be able to use those creatures and all that. So he
just generates a ton of value. So that's you want to make sure that player does not get that kind of value, because you're just going to fall behind really quick in that.
Typically, he does die pretty quick when I've played him before.
As he should.
Yep. All right, next one is one of Lowry's favorites.
Because I'm a dickhead. Elish Norn Grand Cenobite. 4/7 vigilance. Other creatures you control get +2/+2. Other creatures you don't control get -2/-2.
This one we would get caught up with, where I'd like cast things, and I'm like, all right, so I get this. Oh, it never even it ended the battlefield, and it's dead immediately. It sucks. Like, this card sucks. It just controls the board so bad. Like, things.
It gets rid of a ton of utility creatures again with your opponents, and because it basically takes away all of the early turns for creatures that your opponents did, and then it turns your early game plays, like Wood Elves are nothing. You know what I mean? They're a 1/1, they're a chump block, and then they get you a land into play. But then if you're playing Elish Norn, comes into play, turns into a 3/3, a little bit more of a threat, or a little bit more of a blocker. And if somebody has a 4/4 and goes down to a 2/2, like, that all your 1/1s just became better than their 4/4s.
Yeah.
Think of it that way. And that is a huge swingy effect when this comes into play. And it happens, even if it comes into play and they kill it instantly, it's still a little board wipe going on. So you gotta get rid of it really fast.
We've even been caught, like, where we've gone to the next turn, we're like, oh shit, my card's dead because you're damned, forgot that the damned -2/-2. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. All right, the next one is Azusa Lost But Seeking. This is the one where you may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns, which is pretty stupid.
I love this card.
No, it's so good. Like, of course,
it's deceptive.
It doesn't seem like you want to kill this right away, because it's like, well, how are you gonna?
No big deal.
Go ahead, you get extra land. That doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter this turn, but 3 turns from now, when I have 6 more mana than everybody else, Or not 6. My math did
No,
not
you
add
could do
there.
math however
3.
you want. 6.
3.
No, because they get 2 extras, so they're playing 3 per
Oh,
turn,
yeah, I
you're
guess it
playing
is
1
the
per
2.
turn,
It's not
so it
just
can
1.
easily
Yeah,
be
yeah,
6.
yeah. Okay. My math was right. I'm going to
Yeah.
delete the part where I just said that my math was wrong. So, yeah, 6 extra over everybody else. You're able to play so much more heavy stuff, game winner stuff at that point.
It makes drawing extra lands not as harsh because you're able to get that advantage in going out quick. There's plenty of styles that allow you, like Centaur of Crufix.
Yeah, the one where you gain on life every time. Is that that guy?
And then you look at the top card.
Yeah.
You can play land from the top. That allows you to go through your deck really quick. This card is just in a lot of good style decks. This card is crazy. Works really well with Crucible of Worlds, replaying your fetches a ton. Like, this card has so much utility.
Take your strip mine out. Strip mine their land. Put it back out.
Yeah, that sounds like a dick
it.
move. Right. So, but like the other thing is like they can't actually do it quick enough. You can if you have lands that you can play right away, put into play. Even if somebody goes to kill,
you still get to play those lands
because lands don't interact with the stack whatsoever. As long as it's your main phase, you can be like,
you still hold priority.
I'm going to play this land. They're like, okay, I can kill you. It's not even a priority thing. If it's on your main phase, you can play a land at any time, even if something's on the stack. And so if somebody's like, I'm going to play a land, I'm going to go kill your Azusa. Okay, well, I'm going to play these 2 lands.
So get that,
and then you just get that out, and you get it, and right there you just ramped a ton.
But at that point, it's not already too late. It's already too late if you let it go a few turns.
If it goes, if it goes a few turns, you're just going to get buried in that land advantage.
And if they get it on turn 3, this is a 3-drop, you better fucking kill that thing.
Heck yeah.
But it does come up when it comes on the board. It doesn't look as threatening. It's a 1/2.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are like, well, you getting land is not hurting me. It's directly not doing damage to me, but indirectly it will do damage to you later when you're able to cast things way ahead of when the curve should be casting things. So, All right, next on our list is a card that we actually discussed as a general and then kind of made a downshift down.
This definitely can be either.
It can be either, but we kind of thought you made a point that you have this in multiple decks where it isn't your general.
Yeah, so Athreos, God of Passage. Essentially, it's a god from Theros. Whenever you have a non-token creature die, you can have an opponent choose if they want to pay 3 life. If they pay 3 life, that creature goes into the graveyard. If not, it just goes back to their hand or back into their hand. And so
this recently spiked because of Teysa, you're sacrificing, and then
they would have to
double trigger.
Take 6 life if they wanted that to the graveyard. So basically, you're always getting your creatures back with Teysa in play. I have this in my Krav and Regina deck. I think I have it in another one. I'm trying to think of other black-white decks that I have, but this just as a value recursion is amazing, and it's so hard to get rid of since it's indestructible. And again, it can be an enchantment or a legend, but this card is fantastic as just utility in a ton of your graveyard or in a ton of your decks.
Yeah, and if you get the it's a 3-drop for a 5/4, but really
that's the other thing. 3-drop, crazy.
Yeah. All right, next on our list is Skitherix, one of Lowry's favorite, the Blight Dragon. It's a flying infect dragon it's a flying 4/4. You can tap 1 to give it haste until end of turn. I was like, haste. And then
sounds like you just had fun in your pants.
Haste. I had fun. Nice. I do like this card a lot. I don't use it anymore. I had that infect deck that I made, but it has.
So I actually had one. I traded mine when I was like $10-11. It's right now it's 26. I don't feel bad. I would still not use it. Like, I was like, I'm never going to use this thing. I'm probably going to get burnt in the long run on this.
Actually, I like the art on this one a lot. I've always liked this art on Skitherix, so that's another reason. So it also has regenerate. So that's the thing is, if they cast it and maybe attack with it that same turn, if they aren't leaving the mana up for keeping it regenerated, get rid of that thing as soon as possible, because I mean, if it just attacks alone, 3 turns you're dead with infect. If they don't pump it, if they pump it, you're kind of in trouble.
And if this is like the only poison thing that you got going on in your deck, it's probably not as bad. But more than likely, if this is in there, you have a semi theme on it with like exoskeleton, or you're probably green black infect, and this is utility creature in there. Your big beater.
Remember, this was my commander.
No, I do. I do remember that.
It was almost kind of a, when he came out, if I could attack with him, a lot of times it was that person's dead. Yeah, that deck wasn't fun, so I killed it because everybody hated it.
See?
All right,
just proving my point.
Another god on our list, Lowry.
The Scarab God. This is a 5/5 for 5. And essentially, during that player's upkeep, they get to scry. And I can't quite read the card.
Oh, okay. This is one that we had on our top setters too, but it's beginning your upkeep for how many zombies you have. You can scry X, and then you can tap 2, a blue and a black, exile target creature until end of turn, or from anybody's graveyard, and then it becomes a 4/4 black zombie, including whatever the card is and all that.
And again, this is a solid commander as well, but in the 99, this allows you to just get a ton of advantage from the graveyard, being able to get those utility creatures as 4/4s.
Yeah.
Again, that Wood Elf, this Solum Simulacrum, the ones that died early game, coming back as 4/4s and giving you that kind of utility.
And you're stealing from other people's graveyards as well, which is pretty ridiculous in itself.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing graveyard hate in that regard as well.
And then, the last thing with these gods is if it gets killed, not exiled, but if it dies, it goes back into your hand at the beginning of your next end step. So
you can always just be like, well, I'm going to let that go into the graveyard. And then if somebody does graveyard removal, you just put that into the command zone. You're like, well, all right.
Yeah. Well, that's if
you did a lot of work.
We're doing 99 right
also
here.
Also true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Scarab God. I know it's down now. Of course, that sucker was huge when it was actually in standard.
No, that was a $40 card. This card is a really powerful card. So,
all right, and then our last on the list for slaughter on sight or kill him is Atali Primal Storm. I haven't got to use this as much as I'd like to, but it's a dinosaur. It's an elder dinosaur. 2 red, 4 colorless, 6/6, and whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player, or is it each player? It is itself too. Yeah, so that's kind of the cool thing.
Yeah.
It's each player, you exile the top card, and then you may cast that if it's a non-land permanent.
Yeah.
Has to be a permanent, right?
No,
you may cast any number of non-land cards. So as long as it's not a land, you can cast it for free.
So this
stupid awesome.
In the 99, this allows you to do a ton of stuff. So I have this in my Ramos deck because it allows you to just play spells for free, build up Ramos.
Guilds, get all the counters on them.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can do, because it's just free counters on Ramos essentially. And then you remove those counters, do whatever you fucking want with 10 mana. But this card is crazy, and anything, like if you put this in a deck that has Aurelia or Aurelia, the War Leader, as a commander, like you're getting multiple attack triggers off of it. Anything that allows you to abuse that kind of thing that just puts you ahead so fast.
Yeah.
You're in trouble if you see this card across.
Yeah,
and they have some sort of abuse.
The nice thing is it doesn't have haste. If it had haste, you're in fucking trouble.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of trouble. And I mean, it's a good thing that something like Lightning Greaves isn't very common.
No one plays with that. No one at all.
That's sarcasm for those of you that are reading this in text form.
They're reading our podcast in text form?
Yeah, you get it if you email us. We will transcribe it out.
The entire episode.
Even if you only want to read.
Even the dick sleeves and the fucks and all that.
They want to read that? Or I'm not going to literally fuck them.
What?
No, I said I'm not.
Okay.
Literally going to fuck them.
All right, should we move on? That was the end of our slaughter on sight.
That's it?
That's
a fun list.
For our legendary creatures, next week we will
99.
have the legendary creature generals.
As your general, yeah.
So that'll be...
So if you're like, where is this and where is that?
That might
we'll
be
like,
next week.
that could be there, maybe.
Yeah, please send what it is, and then if we don't have it on our list, we might try and put it on our list because we might have forgot about it.
There are plenty. Like I already said, we're talking about like Gave Guru's Spores is a card that we definitely missed. I don't know where I'd put it, but it's stupid. That might go on another list of most annoying cards.
All right, so the next part that we move into is actually on the article that I sent you earlier this week, and it was...
I did read it, yes.
Where did I write that? Right here. Okay. So that was by Jason Alt. Actually, it was from...
What website? Was it MTG stuff?
Well, Fast Finance tweeted, liked his tweet, but it's...
Okay.
He wrote an article called The New Spread. And so basically what that article was about...
Kinky.
It was very interesting because what this guy was talking about was he would go on EDH Rec and compare cards. When you look at... On EDH Rec, they have the Card Kingdom price and the TCG price on the bottom to see what they're generally selling at. And... what he was saying is, look at those numbers, and if there's a big discrepancy between the two, do some more investigation. Because if Card Kingdom's price is at, let's just say 20, but TCG is selling at freaking 5 or 10, well, there's something going on there.
Why is there a discrepancy?
So then you kind of go into Card Kingdom, see what's going on. Is that really what's happening? Because sometimes they aren't updated with their stuff and all that. And is really TCG at that price, or are they maybe sold out? Another thing you can do with that is look at Card Kingdom. If that price is true, check out Card Kingdom's buy list price, because then there's a possibility of buying that card there and being able to sell it to Card Kingdom for making a couple dollars off it, which that's not a big deal there. But if they're already going to give you back the money that you're going to spend on that card, then there's no risk at all.
Yeah, there's very little risk.
So, but what would you do?
Well, so the reason what this is for is kind of for specking, but I think it's also a fair warning if you're sitting down and looking at it. So again, if we go with a card's $10 on TCG, but 20 on Card Kingdom, Card Kingdom is really in the know. And they talk a little bit about this in an article of Card Kingdom is one store. And TCG is multiple.
Yeah, it's vendors.
So Card Kingdom reacts quicker to a buyout type market, whereas TCG has many more cards available, many more people, and they're like, if somebody bought out all my cards, I'd be like, well, I'm fucking out. I'm not going to adjust my price because I don't have any more cards.
Yeah.
And so that adjustment happens as the cheaper cards are bought out. And so... But with Card Kingdom, they're able to react a lot more if they so choose.
And their inventory, they only put 8 out at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
So their inventory goes quick. So normally
it's
when you
eight, and we're like, well, I'm gonna double the price because this is getting crazy. I don't know where it's gonna land, and that makes a ton of sense for Card Kingdom to do. Mm-hmm. And
that's actually a lot of times you can see if the prices are pretty close with Card Kingdom and TCG. If they're gone already on Card Kingdom, then like you just said, it takes a little bit for the TCG to dwindle out because there's so many more vendors typically. So you can kind of see it happen at Card Kingdom first. Mm-hmm. But as you were going through the list, what did you figure out? You started to actually kind of put this to action, right?
So yeah, that's the main thing that we want to talk about a little bit here is you go to, we were going, they said actually, go to EDH Rec. And so what I did was I sat down and kind of used that method of trying to kind of spec on the cards. And so what I started out doing was just I clicked on a popular commander. Now, this isn't in the article where they just go, if you notice the card.
Yeah, they just kind of
discrepancy, then you're
figure out how you want to do it.
Well, you can be a little bit more aggressive on that, too. So if you pick a popular commander, let's just go with Atraxa. That's basically always one of the top commanders that people are building with, playing with. It's very popular. And so, theoretically... popular cards in that deck have the most potential because it's most played in that deck. And if there is that discrepancy between TCG and Card Kingdom, it's easy to investigate and go, hey, this card has a very good potential because it is highly used. Mm-hmm. And I think if you go to obscure decks or something that's not really popular at this point, I don't think you're going to get nearly as much movement. So if you're just seeing something random, you're like, why is there a discrepancy? And you don't see it going
in any deck or anything.
And you're like, well, that's just not real. That's an easy one, but it's not really focused. And that's what I was seeing the problem with the article is it didn't really, and probably shouldn't, tell you how to do it.
Yeah, because then they lose out on what their tricks are and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I guess with that is to piggyback on what you're saying there is, if you aren't going with the popular ones and you're finding discrepancies with something, who's going to buy it? You know, like
Also,
you go and buy a bunch of these and you're like, all right, well, the price difference, TCG added this, but Card Kingdom's this. All right, I'm throwing it up on eBay. Well, no one's building that deck. There's like 18 people building the deck. Who's going to buy that card? So that's another thing. If I think you had me do the same. I was like, you're like, oh, I came up with like 5 to 10 cards off of that.
I looked through 4 decks and I came up with 9 cards within the hour. I
Yeah,
was like, this is a pretty solid method.
And so then I was like, how'd you do it? And you're like, you figured out, asshole.
I did not call you an asshole,
did.
but I definitely was like, if you find something like a different way, and you kind of just came up with the same idea that I did too.
So I did
find the popular commanders.
So I just went off of so I went off Tesa because that was the weekly top commander and started going through that. Then I figured out that that's what Lowry did because he told me what one of his picks was. Mm-hmm. And then I came across that towards the beginning of when I was going through Tesa of the first the discrepancy between the two was one of the cards that you talked about. And I was like, this is what Lowry did. And so I kept going through and finding some other ones. So you cheated
and then you're like, oh, I like that idea too. I'm not going to do anything
I did
original.
like 4 other methods first. I was like, well, this isn't working because I'm not seeing that card. And then I came across that and I was like, there we go. That's what Lowry did. See, I used my brain there.
What were the other methods you used?
Jerk off method. I don't know. No, it isn't.
It sounds pretty sketch.
Whatever card my semen lands on, that's the one I'm going after.
I mean, that's probably how some people travel the world. Like they just sperm on a globe. They're like, I'm going to go to there.
That'd be interesting.
That's the North Pole. You're terrible.
I like how you said that. That's probably how some people travel the world. Like that's actually a thing. There probably is. I mean, it's the world.
I'm sure there's a Reddit forum on it.
There will be now.
Probably.
All right. So
another thing that I was thinking, like when I was going through, so I'm more of a trader than a seller, and so I'm on
trader. I know you're a trader.
With a T.
I know you're a trader. I've made deals with you before. And I've gotten backstabbed like a bitch.
Not TRAITOR. That's not good. TRADER. See how that works?
Trader! Traitor!
I'm not like some Americans.
Nice.
No politics.
No politics.
So sometimes when you're only focused on the trading market of CardSphere or Deckbox, and that's where I kind of trade on, they have certain prices. And those prices can be kind of like different in your head. Sometimes they're behind or ahead, and they can be very different from the real buying or purchasing market, like TCG or Card Kingdom. So some of the standard cards are a little bit valued higher or lower. And so this also gives, looking at EDH Rec, it allows you to see more prices quickly and efficiently, because you can like, oh, I want to trade my Siren Stormcaller at like $450, but they're only selling at $350. This is hypothetical, but you're like, okay, so if I can trade mine for cheaper, that's fine because that's all they're being bought for. And so that allows you to, do a little bit of mental math, but be like, okay, you know what? I'm willing to take a loss on this because it's already dropping on the purchasing market. And so it allows you to be more aggressive with trades, and the vice versa. If it's selling for higher, but it hasn't adjusted up to that higher price, you want to make sure that you're holding on to that card.
Yeah.
So being able to just easily look at Card Kingdom and TCG and versus the trades of what's going on, that allows you to better know what you want to send or what you want to keep or what you want to get. Because sometimes, I was able to, on CardSphere, you're able to set a percentage of what you want your card at.
Do they normally on CardSphere, does anybody ever do 100% or more?
Sometimes. Yeah.
I feel like everything I saw on there was like...
A ton of people just go for like 65%. Like, that's a huge place that I see. And I used to only do 70% on higher. And I was like, I'm getting nothing. So I lowered it to 65. Sometimes I ask them like, hey, I'll send you this at 70% or whatever. But I've had me at 71 to 80%. I get new cards super fast. People are like I said, I got a play set of Bedevil in 3 weeks.
Nice.
I've gotten Lyra Dawnbringer for $8 on there.
Oh, nice.
At like 80% when I was down around $11, $12. Like, these are cards that can easily be gotten at a percentage, as long as you're willing to go a little bit higher than a lot of people. So, but when you're comparing these markets, you do want to know what you're trading, because sometimes just the trading site prices just aren't accurate. Mm-hmm. And so that I was finding to be kind of a nice thing, and it's helpful in that regard.
I guess one last thing I'll say with it, and I kind of mentioned it earlier too, is look at when you see the discrepancy between the two. Really check that buy list thing, because that's another thing that one of the cards. What was the card that we were looking at earlier that we were talking about? And I was like, well,
Wasteland.
Wasteland.
Yeah, I cut that, but yeah, Wasteland.
Wasteland on TCG, you can pick that up for, what was it, around $30, right? Yeah,
so on TCG, they're saying that you can pick up Wasteland for $35.
And then on Card Kingdom, they're selling it for 50 something?
You can get credit for, they're selling it on Card Kingdom for $50,
but you can
which
get
is
credit.
A huge percentage.
It was for $1 more. It was like $36.
Yeah.
So that's not much, but the thing is then there's no risk at that point, because you buy into it, and Card Kingdom can change their prices. I know that, but right then and there, their price is more.
Just turn around and sell.
You could make a buck off of it, but you got to pay for shipping and all that, so it really wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
But if this was a card that was hyped and was on the potentially going up, you have no risk at that point, because you're actually investing in something that the bottom line is $1 more than what you paid for it. But anyways, that's one thing that you can kind of look into. I haven't been using the buy list as much, but actually I'm about to, because we're about to see War of the Spark come out, and I have a ton of cards that relate to Planeswalkers.
I want to get there first.
Yeah. So, but yeah, anyways, you got one more thing? Or
yeah, I have two more notes.
Okay.
So what I was noticing with EDH Rec, their TCG prices weren't always correct.
Right. I did notice that too.
And so they tended to be lower, that when you went and clicked on it and checked it out, they tended to be a percentage off.
I think that might more have to deal with, and I thought I read it in the article, but maybe not, that they're not up to date. Like, they don't go by, as soon as something sells, it changes. Like, I think they only update their stuff once a day, once every couple days for TCG.
Yeah, so that part could be a little slow, and so just kind of watch on that too. And then the last note I have is it did create, when I was going through EDH Rec, it allowed me to see a ton of prices this way. Mm-hmm. And so if you're being aggressive on your specs and going, what do I want to spec on now? And again, you go to the popular commander or something that you're into and be like, well, this card's really good. Is there a discrepancy? You have that potential for the cards to go up with that discrepancy. And so you were just able to see a ton of prices at once that were popular cards. That's just kind of my biggest point, is if you just click on a popular commander instead of going, what about this card?
Yeah.
That's like too slow, too specific. Cast a wide net and then look for what you can find on the differences. That's what I'm kind of saying here.
I'd say more of click on that commander, go through the top cards for that commander.
Yeah.
And
I just went through the entire list.
Oh, you did? So I was kind of slowing down after it got through the top cards for that commander. You have your other commanders that work with it and whatever, but then it's the top cards, kind of scroll through that, and then you start whittling through, and you're like, okay, now we're starting to get into the general of what this commander is, but it's not used in a ton because it keeps getting lower and lower on the list.
And stuff like that, yeah.
So,
I mean, you also have to take into regard, it's not every card with a spread like that, and they, in the article, they talk about that's not the real term for spread, and sometimes there's a spread because a card just became popular, and at that point it's like, well, you're already too late. And what you want to do is, this isn't a super popular card that just spiked, this is something that has the potential to spike. That's why you're speccing. And so they do go a little bit of that into the article. And so I thought it was a really informative article.
It's another unique way to
really
kind of
good
look.
idea.
And
Yeah.
that's not the only way I'm going to spec it all. Like I'm going to continue doing the way I spec, but that's another tool that I might use.
Yeah. And it was kind of similar to, I know like within the last, probably started back in February, talking about just going through Card Kingdom's list and looking for cards that were underpriced in the popular range. It's kind of a similar idea.
But
Because
it's almost nicer because you're seeing
this is a lot
two
less
of them.
work.
Yeah, you're seeing
less work.
Card Kingdom and TCG at the same time. And so you're instead of having to go back and forth between them all, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot more efficient. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I just kind of went through 4 decks, took about an hour and a half, took some notes, like
Found 9 to 10 cards.
Found 9-ish cards, and again, Wasteland 35 versus 50. That's a huge percentage. That's probably the other thing we should talk about. It's percentage based. So I would say like sometimes there's like a card that's $1 on TCG, but 2 on Card Kingdom. You kind of want to go and look at the stock that it is on TCG.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the big things you got to check. Because if it has like 500 copies, then
yeah. And that's where another place where you can try and find that buy list part is if it is a wanted card for Card Kingdom, they're going to be more willing to pay for it. Card Kingdom is generally going to be more expensive anyway. And so you kind of got to watch that a little bit. And so it's like, $1 to $2. That's iffy because they're a card store. They're going to kind of charge more.
yeah.
But if it's like $2.50 to $5, that's a bit of a difference. Even it's a bit of a difference, but it's also a difference between 1 and 2, even though it's 2 times increase.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of find that. But $35.
Did you ever come
to $50
across
on
ones
Wasteland.
where Card Kingdom was much less than TCG? Because he talked about that in the article, and I was like, you don't see that as often because Card Kingdom is one of the first places, like if a card's spiking, that's one of the places that gets emptied pretty quick.
I didn't run across it very often. He definitely gave an example in the article. I don't remember what the card is. I have it in my head, but it was a Tesa jump. Basically.
Yeah.
Hollowed Spirit Caper. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
And,
it was the one that I used. Yeah, that makes the spirits.
And I like if it's that way around, then like do you just go over to Card Kingdom and buy it? Like
I've done that before with Card Kingdom, but that's off of a card that's spiking. So like
Yeah.
TCG is already getting drained, and Card Kingdom now has the cheapest compared to TCG.
Yeah, and when it's all in spiking, you're just going all over the place, just trying to find the cheapest one anyway.
Just like I gotta get something, get it in my cart. check out.
So that is fairly uncommon.
Yeah,
it's almost not notable.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I ended up. I thought it was a really cool, good idea, and I thought it was a really well done article.
We'll have that linked on here too as well.
Yes.
But yeah, the more tools you have to use to figure out your specs, the better. So we're just giving you some more tools because I'm going to use this, occasionally if I don't have things that I currently.
I think it'll be interesting to see how far down the list of popular commanders where I start going, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. But like I'd say 90% of them that I saw that had a spread that was relatively okay. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Or you go and look at the stock and you're like, well, this is kind of low. Okay. I see why this is happening. And so again, go and look at TCG stock, see if Card Kingdom sold out, kind of do your due diligence. Don't just believe EDH rec numbers as well. So it's definitely not perfect. In the article, they mentioned another place. I don't quite remember that off the top of my head, but anything that's falling grass, like we do Goldfish a lot, and I think they were mentioning MTG stocks,
probably,
which I haven't used a whole ton.
I dabble in that. I dabble.
Okay,
from here and there. All right, should we move into our last segment?
Smith Specs of the Week, guys! Ha ha ha!
Smith Specs of the Week.
Let's do Smith Specs of the Week.
All right, so my first one, I actually talked about it in InstaSpec, and let's see if I can say this.
Sepulchral.
Oh, I totally hit it. Sepulchral Primordial.
Sepulchral.
There we go. we had to look it up because it was like Sepulchral.
Chupacabra.
But I talked about this one I insuspect on this one because here's the thing about this. It is, well, I'll first tell you what the card is. It's 2 black, 5 colorless. It's a 5/4 intimidate. That's not the main part of it. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, you can take a creature from their graveyard and put it under your control onto the battlefield. It's a good card. I actually use this in a couple decks. But what I came across this and I was like, well, there isn't a lot of inventory. I think there was only like 18 copies on TCG. And that was that's really low for a card like this. So I was like, all right, I think I bought like 6 of them for $5. Foils is actually what I'm talking about. So this is from Gatecrash, and I'm talking about the foils. As soon as I bought those, I bought a couple near mints. I buy light play and near mint when I buy stuff. The near mint is what Goldfish goes off of. I bought the, I guess, cheapest near mints. Of course, I bought the cheapest near mints. I'm not going to buy more expensive. That's stupid. But anyways, it spiked it. It jumped $2 immediately after I did that. So what that tells you, one, there's a ton of not a ton of inventory, and so this card is just, there isn't much left. There's only 14 copies left. This is in 10,000, actually more than 10,000 EDH decks. The buy list, so remember I was just talking about the buy list. The buy list at Card Kingdom is the exact same price. It's at $5.
So you can sit down and just flip that and just get out of it.
Just get out of it if I don't think that it's going to do anything. But it's very already up $2 from when I bought it. It only has the one foil printing. What else do I have on there? Oh, I talked about the spike. But the other part of it is, like, we also are seeing another card that's similar to it that's much better than it, the Rise of the Dark Realms.
Rise of Dark Realms is
that one's on a spike right now.
$25.
And yeah, that's a much better card. It's 2 mana more. You get to grab every creature from everybody's graveyard and put it into play. This is a creature, like a body. That one's a sorcery, so it's a little different.
But again, as this is a little bit more abusable, so like you can reanimate this from the graveyard or blink it or copy it, like clone it.
Yeah, you can flash it. You can make it come really fast and
over the globe.
Yeah,
know where it's going.
Yeah. It's going to Australia now.
That's a weird angle. Trust me. Not that I've done it.
Go over the top and then it'd have to go under the bottom.
I believe you were always just supposed to like drill a hole through the center of the globe and then figure out what's on the other side, right?
China? Or sorry,
is it?
Say it like Trump. China. China.
No politics.
Sorry. China.
Jesus.
Anyways, yeah, the foils right now are sitting around $5. I still see it. There's a couple of foils that are around the $5 range. I think this is going to be a $10 to $15 card once this is gone. 10,000 EDH decks. That's a lot. Like I told you, I use this in a couple of my decks. It's not a card. I haven't used it yet, but it definitely is kind of on the periphery. I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool card. Yeah. I mean,
so I'm sure it's good enough. A lot of people are using it.
Yeah. So, and I guess I caused a spike, but there's still copies. So that's the thing about Goldfish is a little frustrating for me sometimes. Is
again not always accurate.
Yeah,
it's okay to go and check.
Goes off of, and so eBay prices are at $6-7, so they're a little $2 more. But you can still, like I said, TCG, you can pick them up for $5. If you don't go for near mint, light play I think is just as good because most of the time they're in pretty damn good shape. Most of the time, and then
I mean, I've had it a couple times where I'm just like, hey, this card isn't light play. This is
moderate play.
They're like, oh, send me a picture, and they're like, okay, we'll reduce the price, or you can send it back. And I was like, no, I'll take the price reduction. But
yeah, I typically
I had to do that with Card Kingdom last time too.
Oh, really?
They sent me a damaged card.
What?
Yeah.
That's surprising to me because Card Kingdom is they're so anal about when you send them their stuff. They have the people grading your stuff and they always mark it down. And they sent you that's kind of shitty.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
You just call them or not call them. I was like, give me a fucking manager. No, I was just like, hey, this card's damaged. And it was kind of hard to see. So like it was a full art foil Steel Leaf Champion. and there was just like dots in the corner and actually like a very hard to see crease in it as well.
Huh.
And so I was like, it was really hard, but I do look over the cards when I get them.
Yeah.
Just because some of the stuff is really hard to see, and you just want to bring the shit up though too. You don't want to wait.
So they
refunded
can be like, you some money then?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not a ton. I mean, it was $250 per.
But still.
One. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Let's move on to your next spec.
So my next one, or my first one, and this came from
the article.
The
article.
The article that we just talked about with the spread.
Article of Moldiah. See what
That's not
there?
a thing. Yeah,
Did
no,
you
I
see what
definitely
did
saw
there?
it. That actually was one of the spreads that I scratched off because it was too expensive.
Oracle was on there?
Oracle on TCG, they're saying is $32, but on Card Kingdom is $45. That's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty expensive.
That's a difference.
Stating obvious things. So one that I was seeing that had a pretty nice spread, in my opinion, was Anguished Unmaking.
Oh, yeah.
So on TCG,
Nice
it was right around $5. But on Card Kingdom, it's sitting around $9, and this is non-foil at this point. So I went and checked out the TCG. There's still a ton for non-foils, but it is used a lot in a lot of Commander decks. But their promo foils were very low inventory. Like, it was under 10, if I'm remembering right.
You're saying TCG
had under 10
At
for
what?
the promo foils.
Like these?
Sitting around... No, not these ones.
Oh, okay.
So this
gotcha.
one,
Gotcha.
And those were sitting around like $6-7 for the foil promo. Now, there was a ton of foils and there was a ton of regulars, even though they're pretty well. But they have a full art game day promo, and that's sitting on TCG. I think I got 3 of them for around $11.
That's
and
what I was seeing.
I can easily see the promo foil. That's like the stamp one. That one I can easily see being bought out, going up to $12. This one, the full art promo one, is sitting
why
at
not
$12.
go to this one?
Yeah,
you know?
This one can easily double if it becomes super popular. But this is really good removal, and it's full art foil. It's a pretty card. So I can easily see this one doubling, especially with it being a very heavily played card and it attracts in many black-white decks.
Yeah.
So that spread made it interesting. It had me go look out, and then that's just kind of what I came up with. And I think any of the Anguished Unmakings are decent buys in compared to Card Kingdom.
Yeah, the thing about Anguish too is it's just been on the rise, you know. So it's over the last year or two, it's been actually on a rise. So yeah, I think it's a good card to go after. But this one's more of a longer term hold though, a little bit, right? Because we have the 3.
I think it's just something that's going to slowly continue to go up. I don't think you're going to get a buyout, but I think people are going to continue to just go, there's going to be awesome in this deck.
It's going to be kind of what the article talks about, where it's like, oh, that's now a $20 card. What the hell? Yeah. Like,
and I think your full art promo has the best to do it. So yeah.
You did say it seemed a little more dark, but I love the full art.
Yeah, I do
stuff.
have one already, and it is not the most amazing foil, but it's still a really cool.
It's not like our
card.
Galtas.
No, Galta looks pretty, and the Steel Leaf Champion looks pretty.
Yeah, definitely. And I think did you get the EDH rec decks? How many it was in? It was in a lot. I remember when I looked at it.
I don't remember all of those numbers for any of these, but yeah.
Okay. All right. My next one is it actually goes back to the love letter, because when I was emailing back with Aussie Nate
playing at instant speed.
Yeah,
like, I like my deck too.
I was like, yeah, that reminds me of my Rashmi deck. So Rashmi from Kaladesh, the foil printing of this is sitting at. I was able to actually pick a few of these up at $7 a piece. It's in 5,600 EDH decks. There wasn't a ton of inventory. I think it was under 50 vendors actually had this one for promos and the regular foils. So there really wasn't a lot on there. Buy list, again, this one is another one where the buy list is the exact same price.
So at $7 basically at Card Kingdom.
So, and it says $650 here, but I was seeing $7 at Card Kingdom, or it might have been around, or maybe, no, that's what it was. It was $6.50. So you're losing out 50 cents if you were to sell it back right now.
I love doing that.
Yeah, just lose out. But the thing is like this card, it's not just an amazing commander. It's actually a pretty damn good card in general to be in your deck.
It gives you some pretty solid card advantage.
Because you cast stuff on other people's turn, you're actually able to draw off of it or play off of it. It just, I don't know. There's so much to this card.
Well, and another thing to look at when you look at kind of the graphs, wherever you're looking at a graph for the price, it's been steady for as long as it's kind of been out. It dropped for 3 months, and then it just basically became steady. And as a pretty good solid utility card, not a slaughter on sight kind of card, but maybe. But
it's not on there.
No, it isn't. It is not on the list we created. But this card has been steady for a while, and so it has some pretty good potential to be going up as it's being used more and more as well.
And it's a mythic as well. I mean, you could look at the non-foils. You can get those for $1, but there's a ton of... Compared foil to non-foil, there's a lot less inventory. Of course, that's what you typically have. But, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of non-foils. And you're typically going to use this as your commander, so everybody wants their commander to look pretty. So your foils are the ones that people are shooting for, and that's why the inventory is so much less. But yeah, so I picked up like 4 of these, and like I said, the last time when I looked at the inventory, it was around 50 for both copies.
Okay.
So, all right, your next one, Lau.
My next one is going to be an amazing card.
When it
waiting
loads.
for it to load. No. Okay, so
loading,
I'll go off of
loading.
Venser the Sojourner is Planeswalker blue-white, and your computer died. And so the spread that I was seeing, and here I'll use the example. So on Card Kingdom, the regular and the dual deck like foil promo of it, they're both going for $18. And on EDH Rec, when I was looking at it, they're saying $9 for the non-foil. I went and clicked on it. 12 is basically what you're able to get
more
it
of
for.
what it was.
Yeah, but still, that's not a bad. And it was low inventory that I was seeing as well. You do have the 2 printings with the dual deck and the regular, but I think you have some real potential. Yeah, it almost looks like it's already gone up like $1. And so you're already seeing that little bump. And I can easily see this going up to 18. It's a Planeswalker. It's mythic. It's from an older set. Mm-hmm. And the only thing really keeping it down is that dual deck foil version. So I would definitely say that this is a card that can go up sooner rather than later.
Now, I would almost say that...
And this is used in a ton of commander decks as well.
I would say the dual deck one would be, because it's a foil printing of it, wouldn't that be? I mean, it's the same price as a non-foil. Personally, I would prefer to own this one over the non-foil.
One thing, I didn't go through and see what it is right now, but generally the dual deck stays right around where the non-foil is. Yeah, they kind of curve a bit more than the regular foils. Mm-hmm. And also, like, the alternate art isn't always the best. This one's not a bad one with Venser the...
It just looks like he's holding a bunch of jellyfish.
Yeah. No big deal. But yeah.
NBD. NBD.
So he... that's not how I talk at all. I don't understand that.
I don't know what you're...
NBD, no big deal. See, I got it. But this one it's a really solid card. Used in a lot of decks. Was kind of low on inventory. And it has all the makings of something that's going to match the Card Kingdom price of $18. So you'll see a 30% increase.
I dig it. I like that. I didn't realize the foils were... See, and that's what I'm saying is like...
You still want to dig around, see if there, the other printing kind of is going to help suppress the price a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
So, but this one, it's generally going to trend up with the non-foil version of it. So always do your own research on this kind of stuff too.
All right, my last one has to deal with... I was actually just finishing up going through all my cards and kind of sorting my collection, and I came across this card, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It's from an old set. Primitive Etchings is from Scourge, and Lowry yawned while I was giving this one out.
I went away from the mic. That's a boring card.
It's reveal the first card you would draw each turn. Whenever you reveal a creature card, so this would work well with Lowry's
Vivictus Asmati, or if you were playing non-creature spells in Nikia as well.
No, oh yeah, Nikia, yeah. When you reveal a creature card, draw a card. So if you have a creature on the top, you get to draw an extra card, and it doesn't have to be just your turn. It's anybody's turn. So anytime your first card you draw each turn.
That's a good point.
So the foils are at like $1 right now. I was actually able to pick them up for $1. I picked up 4 of them for $1. The inventory still... Wait, did I have... Primitive... Actually, no, it's another one that does not have a lot of inventory because it's an older card too. So you have a lot of really cheap ones that are really beat up, heavy played, moderately played. I don't do anything MP. It's normally LP or
LP
near
unless
mint.
I'm desperate. I would agree.
But this card's pretty interesting. It isn't used in a lot of EDH decks, so this could be maybe I wouldn't put it in our...
It's not something that's going to go right away, but it could be something good in
your
collection.
Our topic that we talk about with the
underused
cards, I wouldn't put it there, but it's an interesting draw engine for green, especially green's playing a lot of creatures and everything like that.
Trying to think of other ways to draw cards on other people's turn. The only one I could think of off the top of my head was Sensei's Divining Top. Mm-hmm. Set the top, draw, then draw top, Sensei's and then see the land and draw Sensei's again. So
yeah. So it has some interesting things to it. It's very old set. I don't see this being reprinted.
That's probably the biggest benefit is foil old set.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's $4 if you want to buy 4 of them. That's all. That's why I was like, I'll buy 4 of them. There isn't a lot of inventory. It could spike and I'll make a couple bucks off of it. But I thought it was a interesting ad for a green draw that I haven't really used much. It's not in a deck. It's been on the cutting board of a couple decks, but I never put it in yet. Okay. So I'm telling you to buy a card that has never made it into one of my decks for EDH.
But again, the ceilings or the floor is really low.
I know it's
$1.
That's the thing it's been sitting there for a while, and it's an old card. So, anyways, last one for you, Lau.
All right, talking again about the spread from the article idea that they talked about.
Talk about the spread.
Yeah, baby. So they're saying that on EDH Rec, Mana Confluence, it's a land that taps for any color, and you pay 1 life when you're doing it. TCG has it around $10. And Card Kingdom has it at about 18. And again, this is a really quite a good card, and I can easily see this going up to the $18, $20 mark because I don't think it's going to see a reprint anytime soon. And that spread just kind of gives you a tell, this has some real potential to go up. Card Kingdom think it's going to go, and they're better than a lot of people at this kind of stuff. I didn't look at the buy list. That could be a good one to see what Card Kingdom is buy listing it
Looks like it's at 9.
So,
you know what I'm actually just kind of noticing right now too is I need to start using Goldfish's sidebar a little bit more because they do have the eBay, Channel Fireball, and Card Kingdom on the right side there. Prices because as you said 18, I was like, oh, is he reading right off of there or does he have it in his notes? No, he has it in his notes or off your head.
Actually, yeah, that's a really good idea because one thing that I never look at is the price of Star City games at this point. They're always super expensive. It's not even, especially in standard, no point in even looking at it. Now they do have good high quality cards and everything like that, but they're just always more expensive in my experiences. So, but I think that's a good thing. If you can find any place that has multiple prices from multiple places, you're always going to be able to compare and figure out what the best price is and if it's worth it, if there's big differences. Because even right here, you're right, I don't think I've ever even noticed it yet, but it's Card Kingdom, $18, Channel Fireball, $13, eBay, buy it now is $10.60, a TCG player has it at $9.90. That's a really nice thing to go, oh wow, there's kind of a big difference there. Yeah,
that's actually a pretty good
Channel Fireball at 13 makes me go, maybe it's not going to go up, but again, it's a pretty good card.
Well, it's still a big difference between your lowest price, although when you scroll down you can kind of see that TCG there's some But that's the thing is sometimes that actually isn't accurate. When you look on Goldfish and it says buy it now, and then you go on actually TCG and it said 7.
Not accurate.
Well, that's at foil. Oh, it is. Well, heavily played 724. So that actually has one copy at 7. Well, but that's the thing. It doesn't pull in the shipping. Your shipping
also true. Yeah.
Your shipping's $199. So that's kind of the false.
Still $9.
Yeah. So when you look at the side tab, though, this is correct. TCG. So when you look at Goldfish's sidebar, I still think the proper way to do it is find the card on EDH Rec.
Yeah. And then you have a large assortment of cards.
Then you could pop on,
popular.
if you really wanted to see every single one, you could pop on to Goldfish as your secondary check and see if it really is that on the sidebar that's there with the card.
Yeah.
That might be a quick way to do it.
Because understand this as well. EDH Rec is sponsored by Card Kingdom.
Yeah.
And whatever this article, they're sponsored by a company as well.
Yeah.
So there are going to be biases on where they're telling you to go and check out. We are not sponsored by anybody. So if
we're sponsored by Goldfish.
If you would like us to be biased towards your website,
hey, Saffron Olive,
yeah, come and check us out.
Yeah,
just tell us where to go. But more options, the better, as always.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that does it for this week, right? That's all our specs.
Yeah.
This is a long episode.
No way. That was a great episode.
We have another one to back this up.
Was it?
Yeah,
that is a long one.
Long episode.
Thank you for sticking around for this long. That was a lot of discussion.
All right, let's get through these quick. So you guys can follow us on Twitter.
At CommanderSmiths.
You can email us.
At CommanderSmiths on Gmail.
And you can YouTube us, subscribe there. Like I said, April, we will be doing the drawing for the proxy. So anybody that's subscribes to our page, we will put you in the drawing. And then you can also go on. Oh, I already did Twitter.
Patreon.
Did I do Twitter?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I don't know.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, everything at CommanderSmiths.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Patreon,
If
go
we're
on
not
there.
Then ask us to be there.
Last week
Except for Instagram. Silly.
Last week for Patreon proxy cards. So anything that was on this month, you can get. If you do $5 or more, you can get 2 of them. So
we would really appreciate it if you're at Patreon and when you or just tell other people that you like us and you listen to us.
Yeah. Spread the word.
Get them addicted to us, and that's perfectly fine with us.
Oh, that was one thing that we didn't announce. This month is beating our most downloaded month. I think I put that on Twitter.
Yeah, you tossed that on Twitter.
Yeah. So that's kind of thank you guys. That's awesome. Like it's blowing our. Whoa. Yeah, I need to finish that sentence really quick.
It's blowing
our
over the globe.
Yeah, it's beating our biggest month by far.
Like the third ejaculation choke we've had in this episode.
We still have another episode after this. This is gonna be awesome.
Fun.
All right, you guys can check us out next week. We will see you later.
Wah, wah.
I'm like, oh man, we don't have another beer for the next episode. All right, well, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.